It's a privilege and an honor to welcome human trafficking survivor, author, and international speaker, Lurata Lyon, on stage. Although Lurata's story is... Come on, footwear. This is how B-roll people roll. This is what we do, okay? It's fantastic. But look, although Lurata's story is hard, very, very hard, she gracefully, selflessly, and boldly has made it her mission to share and encourage others. Before I give her the mic, also I want to say, Lurata, before you help us park this B-bold London bus, I'll stop talking about the bus, I've got to think about it. London bus, it's like London bus, it wasn't the taxis or the British London. I'm with me to say it works. Thank you. On behalf of the organisation, we would like to officially congratulate you on your recent Human Rights Award at the 2024 Well deserved for an active understanding, and please bring it home for us.
I'm honestly a little bit bugging me. Can't take me anywhere these days. Well, good evening. It's a good evening. For me, it is up in York. I'm sorry. I'm with Mom. I'm tired. I just want to go home. No, I really have felt the emotions that everyone has shared and the knowledge that they can find. It's like sitting in a classroom at school. I didn't even mean to say this, but it's just hit me. It's so much knowledge, and I'm taking it all in because I personally never got a chance to get full-on education at a very young age, which I will touch base in a minute. But I was trying to take it in, and for dear life, I didn't want to let go all this knowledge because some is to come, some that I need to invest my money back so I can't get this. Anyway, now let's go back to me. Hey, I'd like to ask here, who here has children? By show of hands, okay, keep your hands up, please. And don't worry, those that don't have, you're not missing out much, because they really have age tweaked. I'm always worried about them. And the ones that haven't raised their hands, raise your hand if you've been a child. I'm watching you. So, why do I ask these questions? Because as children, we are born so innocent and so pure, and we have bunch of dreams, and we want to be this, and we want to be that. And I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor just like my dad. My dad inspired me greatly, not because my mom didn't. She was amazing. She's a professor of languages, but for some reason, my dad was the one thing, what he did and how he was with people. I just wanted to be a doctor. And so here is my dad, very solid man, very serious. He sits me down just before war hit us properly in former Yugoslavia. I was born and raised in former Yugoslavia. And he said, Lurata, what is it that you aspire to be when you grow bigger, older? And I remember looking at the scene and saying, oh, should I say this? He's gonna not be happy with this. I said, okay, I need to be bold. I said, Dad, I just want to be like you, a doctor. He looked at me and he said, but why? I never expected him to ask me why, because we never ask ourselves, why is it that we choose to do what we do? And tonight there's been so many answers about that. I said, because Dad, having said, the fact that you are amazing, you help people, I said, I want to help people just like you. He wasn't impressed, I thought. He just looked around and said, right, if helping people is what you want, you don't have to be a doctor. Me being a teenager, I was like, hormones, yeah? Oh, he doesn't believe in me, Mom! All of this. I just want to be a bit funny like everybody else. Just don't work stuff. I'll get you more funny stuff. And my dad was preparing me for something that I didn't understand as a child. The war was on our doorstep. The thought of me going to university, becoming a doctor, was non-existent, completely. So he prepared me for my disappointment. He prepared me for somehow survival, to accept something that a freedom isn't just given, can be taken away from me at any time. And so he was quite right. We were soon singled out for ethnic cleansing into the crease of the mountain, and the soldiers were going to do the biggest massacre that's ever been. I'm not going to spoil the book for you. It's available on Amazon, by the way. It was a massacre that never happened thanks to my uncle, which bribed the army to save the town of that place. It's a lot more details into that, but I'm very grateful for him. He no longer lives with us. I often miss him because he gave us all a second chance. Oh, I look good. Children, everybody. And so here I am. I go back home after that night. My dad says, Lurata, I've just come back from the town, from this little village. The soldiers are really quite abusing women and young women and women. He said, I need you to run away through the mountains into Kosovo from Serbia. I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay. I'm not young. I'm like 17, 18. The only child, no sibling to accompany me, just on my own completely. I said, can I take Mom? Mom's like, no, I'm staying with your dad. I need to be with him. Okay. He said, cross the mountain, find your own way, and then when you get to the other side, find the Red Cross. I looked at the mountain, it's so big, it's so lonely, it's so cold, but I had to do what my dad did because I never spoke back to my dad. So I took this little bag with me, started marching through that mountain, said goodbye to my mum and dad. I didn't know if I was going to see them again. As I reached to the other side, eventually reached the capital of Kosovo, which is Pristina. I got found in the streets of Kosovo by 2 American police officers, UN peacekeepers, Peter O'Brien and Brian O'Reeves. I couldn't speak a word in English, and please tell me how's my English today? Anyway, sorry, I'm trying to make a story that is horrific. I'm just trying to not cry because it's been an emotional week already. I said to Peter and Brian through the translators, I need to go to the Red Cross, but I don't know where they are. They said they can't take her to the Red Cross. It's too dangerous. She's crossed borders. She's come from Serbia to Kosovo. There is no way. However, they decided to give me shelter in their own apartment. And I was frightened because I just came from command of soldiers wanting to kill us to literally living with 2 American police officers, old grown man, a teenager. I had no idea what to expect. And we became the most amazing friends. They treated me with so much respect and dignity, and they fed me, and I washed their uniform. I was cooking for them, so obviously I deserved a bit of food. But yeah, they became my best friends. To this day, I have seen Peter since. I haven't seen Brian yet, but perhaps we will, get together soon for our reunion. Unfortunately, that beautiful friendship didn't last long. I was left this one day on my own because I had to go to work. And I thought, if I just cross the road and get a magazine, because I speak fluent Albanian and fluent Serbian, I thought if I could just get a magazine and just read it in Albanian, or just something to do, because I was going mad, I was thinking, is my mum and dad still alive? It was probably one of the biggest mistakes and the biggest lessons I learned to date. I walked out of the apartment only to be taken by human trafficking and organ harvesting gang. And the way it happened, as I explained in the book, was quite frightening because they just pulled in front of me, shoved me in the van, and this is it for a split second, a child is gone. Hence why I do what I do today, because I know how quickly it goes. seconds. You think your nice watch is going to be stolen in London in seconds? Child, even quicker. So quick. Off I was, in this van, taken to the boss, and they dragged me into this building. I had a hoodie over my head. And the boss said, "Do the deeds, boys, I want to watch this action." Because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say in this room, so I'm trying to be careful with the words, read between the lines, everybody. I was flipped down, stripped off my clothes, and as about to be abused, I screamed so loud whilst I was crying and trembling, as if you put like electricity through my body. I said, "Don't do this, Amber Bridget." And I just don't know. I just remember the silence and the boss coming to get this man off me. He said, "Have you not heard? She is a virgin. We have stumbled across a huge cargo, boys." Here I am, lying like shaking and thinking, what cargo? What does it mean? Isn't that goods, chocolates, whatever, you know? I'm a kid, what do I know? I haven't even been to university yet. What they meant was to cut this long story short, because I want to focus on what I'm doing now. Instead, I was so precious, they sold me to the highest bidder. The highest bidder. And to think that such market even exists, it's kind of a, you know, it messes up with your head, doesn't it? I was sold to the highest bidder, but luckily managed to escape and return back to my parents. And I'm not doing it justice the escape and everything, but again, timing is everything, and you can read the book. But trying to get to the point where I got to my parents, and then what I learned, the next steps of learning and growing, that was my university for that I didn't choose it, but it sort of came to me. My parents, because I crossed borders, I got taken by our army, by Serbian army, and imprisoned in this abandoned building, not far from my house, actually, in Yugoslavia, in Serbia, and interrogated badly to the point where they dislocated my back, and I also lost my legs. I'm just very grateful to be walking again. I got completely deformed by the soldiers. They beated me up so much, and they branded me, they broke my nose, dislocated my jaw, you name it, it happened. When they branded me, I blacked out. The pain was so excruciating, you just don't even have time to process, you just black out. When I woke up, unfortunately, I was in this small dark room, as tall as I would stand, as long as I would lie down, and just about touch both sides. And no window, and all I could see is this crease of the doors, a bit of light coming through. And I started freaking out because I was in pain. I couldn't see from the swollen eyes anyway, but I could feel the walls. I thought maybe I was buried alive. So I became frantic. I started screaming, and I realized, oh my God, nobody's coming. And I had to calm myself down and grab onto whatever I could find on the floor. And it was this nasty blanket, which became a part of me for 6 months. So I was held in a solitary confinement for 6 months. And daily abused by multiple soldiers, and many at a time. The reason I want to focus on this bit is something life that teaches you can't learn in universities. It taught me initially hate and disgrace and hating the gender and hating so much. Sorry guys, I'm getting to the good point. I don't hate men, I love men. But in those moments, I felt all these emotions. And I wanted to die, I wanted to starve, I wanted to do all of that. I was ready to give in. And then something magical happened, because I realized this was going to be forever, lifetime prison. That's what I thought. Nobody was coming for me. I then realized that if I sing, I was feeling better, and I can't sing, don't ask me to sing. But for me at that time, I was like Whitney Houston, okay? I rocked. I was practicing my vocal cords. And I was actually thinking of my mom's cooking and her smell and the cooking and the way my dad spoke to me, the words, the why. And most of all, I thought about Nelson Mandela. And I thought, if he could do it, so can I. He became my biggest inspiration right there and then. And then I thought, what would he do? How he would handle this? What do you think is going on with him now? So when these soldiers was came in and started abusing me, instead of me freaking out and pushing them away and trying to fight them, I was skin and bones. I gave in and I stared at the dark ceiling thinking, when we are born, we are so innocent. This man or children one day. What happened to this man that they became this way? And so I started forgiving them. And because I started forgiving them, I took away that power. So when I got rescued and all of that, because I'm just going to be given that I don't have much time, I never thought I would escape. But when I got rescued, I got brought to the UK as a political asylum seeker, very dodgy. I was like smuggled in. And thank you guys for paying your taxes, because you paid for my education here, so I really appreciate it. I decided, once I healed, a long process of healing in the UK with a lot of help, psychiatrists, psychologists, you name it, I had it under my wing. What was missing is all the healthy eating, all the training I was doing wasn't helping, because here it wasn't healthy. So I would like to get to the point where healthy thinking is the best thing you can do. So when you wake up in the morning, the boldest thing you can do for yourself, or the boldest thing in the world you can do, is be bold for yourself. The boldness can be a negative one and a positive one. So when your voice in your head is telling you something, be really mindful of which one is speaking to you and choose the positive one, because it's going to drag you down, not like no one else in this room. And I started changing the way I thought, and because I've changed the way I thought, I've changed my outcome. I then became a public speaking coach, obviously published a book, I work with charities, and I will not stop until I die, because I believe that this world deserves to be a safer place for all of us, for generations to come, for our grandchildren. But most of all, the majority is really good. Evil is very little, but what we don't stand collectively. Together, we are stronger. Separate, we are weak. And this is not coming from a movie, AIDS, by the way, just from my heart. So what could you be bold with? Be bold with yourself by having a bold, positive voice in your head. And then be bold by not just doing something big, because big happens eventually and everyone will know, but the little things, the little steps, make that change. And it doesn't happen immediately, but step by step. So ask yourself right now, waking up as of tomorrow, what do you think you're going to do different? You're going to listen to something that brings you down? Because for me, news brings me down. I hate to say. I know I've spoken to the Telegraph, and I said exactly the same thing. They laughed, because they knew it was coming from a very innocent place. So listen to things, a podcast, a music that makes you feel good. Go do your run. Speak to a friend that motivates you. Speak to your other half that motivates you. Being bold is not doing something huge at all times, because it takes time. Be bold in small doses to create ripple effects, just like Nikki has done here, helping everyone, just like everyone here. You all are amazing. Who am I to tell you if you don't tell yourself? Other people's opinion doesn't matter, it's their own. Love yourself, thank yourself every day. I actually really love myself. That's bold for me.